Art is important for it commemorates the seasons of the soul, or a special or tragic event in the soul's journey. Art is not just for oneself, not just a marker for one's own understanding. It is also a map for those who follow after us. Clarissa Pinkola Estés, PhD, Women Who Run with the Wolves. Hello again. As with last time, I have my book of notes, so I hope you don't mind if I reference it. So this is a video for those who have yet to find their deep life, or perhaps lost connection with it. Here we will find, obtain, develop, refine our wonder, our deep soul. One soul, or the concept of one soul, has fascinated me for quite some time. I personally almost feel it as a physical force when I'm creating or researching or just marching in the right direction. But despite what we see in literature, the soul, I think, is actually quite fragile, particularly in this highly technological modern world. It's constantly disrupted and overstepped and forgotten. So can we find it again? I think our soul never truly leaves us. With a little bit of reading and idle moments and creativity and a little bit of science, we can dig up our soul and we can develop it and refine it once again. So I've got a quote here that's by Clarissa Pinkola Estés, PhD, in the book Women Who Run with Wolves. I'm sure you've heard of the book before, but I guess I just want to say, try not to have too much judgment. The beauty of literature is that we can absorb all sides of the coin, be it religious or spiritual or scientific. If we consume it all, we can learn to develop our own connections with the literature and take bits and pieces of it that actually resonate with us. So you will note throughout this video, I will pull quotes from very liberal literature, such as Women Who Run with the Wolves, or very almost finance bro, success podcast level literature as well. But I think mixing the genres and broadening your repertoire really helps refine what connects with you and helps you move almost in a different way than you thought you could. So here's our first quote. "The old one, the one who knows, is within us. She thrives in the deepest soul psyche of women, the ancient and vital wild self. Her home is that place in time where the spirit of women and the spirit of wolf meet, the place where mind and instincts mingle, where a woman's deep life funds her mundane life." So my deep life lies in creation. I have a belief that sweeps through me whenever I'm woodworking or illustrating, that I can just do it. I've never used a lathe before, but part of me knows that I will be able to use it and I will be able to create. It's already part of who I am. So what is your create? Perhaps it comes straight to your mind, or perhaps it doesn't. Whether you need to find it or refine it, the best place to start is just with idle time. I'm sure you've heard that the ideal amount of leisure time in a day is between 2 and 5 hours. What I think they mean by leisure time is goal-orientated idle thought. So I've done a little bit of research into this phenomenon of, if we are so predisposed to work and create and keep pushing on like we do, humans are so robust in that way that we can just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Why is it so important for us to switch off and to have this idle time and idle thoughts? So neuroscientist Jessica Andrews-Hanna presented this connection in some modern studies with the brain's default network and internal mentation. So basically, when the brain is idle, either through completely doing nothing or through mundane tasks, the default network of the brain takes over. This leads to internal personalized thought or internal mentation. By taking 2 hours a day to perform mundane tasks, one opens oneself up to REST, random episodic silent thought. So we see that rest leads to organization, self-regulation, and future sight, which is really important. I have a quote here from Jessica Andrews Hanna in her study, The Brain Default Network and its Adaptive Role in Internal Mentation. Instead of being constrained by the here and now, humans have the unique ability to disengage from the external world and turn our thoughts inward to that which we find personally significant. Through mental simulation of our past, future, and the minds of others, we travel far beyond the observable. So wherever you are in this moment, to whatever capacity that you are able, try to let your mind wander just for a moment. Let your mind and your instincts mingle. The ancient and wild vital self.
It's not for you.
So, what are your daydreams? What are your plans? What problem did you solve in your mind? Or did you simply get swept away by some fictional adventure upon some distant mountain in your mind? So whatever you think of in these moments are completely subconscious and personal. When refined and guided, it's a window into our deep life, our deep soul. Whilst we have increasingly busy lives, I don't expect you to be able to sit and do absolutely nothing whilst you have your morning coffee. That is unreasonable, but I think you will be able to find these idle moments in your day-to-day life without even changing your routine. It's just about being conscious that it's happening. As Jessica outlines, it's actually goal-orientated passive tasks that best activate this default network in the mind. So, I'm sure that these tasks are actually incorporated already into your life. You just need to focus on it. Listen to it. So, next time you wash the dishes, or brush your teeth, or go for a drive, what is it that you're dreaming of? Perhaps it's your deep self talking. Just as with anything, there is such thing as too much. Jim Rohn from Reprogram Your Mind for Success, he states, "The battle of the mind is significant for us every day. Stand guard at the door of your mind and you decide what enters. Beware of the thief in your mind that's after your promise." With too much thought, we can prohibit process and become trapped in our minds. There comes a time where we need to act, to create, to be creative, or to chase creativity. The first act that you take should be to consume fuel. Jim Rohn goes on to say, the mind needs to be nourished, needs to be fed, needs to be exercised, needs to be refined. What fires you up? What stops you in your tracks? I'm not asking for purpose, I'm asking for your everyday spark. Perhaps it's crime shows or cars, fashion, makeup, feminism, learning, teaching, caretaking, art, philosophy, psychology. I promise there's something. Now you have a starting point for your fuel. Fuel is words. It's storytelling, listening, reading, and experiences. However you personally connect with words, you need to find and feel and absorb it. One piece of fuel will then lead to another. One random episodic silent thought will refine it and apply it to you personally so you can feel it. You can feel with it. That's soul. That's the deep life that fuels your mundane everyday life. Wonder that gets you up in the morning. Wonder that makes you see magic in the most mundane things. You will bring colour to your black and white world. What once was grey is now an explosion of joy and passion. We can all daydream, but when you give yourself the right fuel, you can create those dreams. So, live through your soul, connect back with your wild self. Not wild as in rabid, but wild as in wilderness and wondrous, authentic self. So here are some of my recommendations for fuel for some place to start if you're really feeling stuck. In terms of reading, I personally connect with a newspaper called Le Petit 3. It's a monthly newspaper that's produced in Paris. It is in English, and it walks you through art and philosophy, history, and connections with the natural seasons. It's a great way to consciously slow down. It's a newspaper that comes once a month, so that's all your obligation, that once a month you sit down for an hour and you just read through and think about the words, the poetry, and the quotes and history that's written out before you. My next reading recommendation is Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estés, PhD. I've already quoted some of this book in this video, but it's a book of storytelling that connects Jungian psychology with the feminine instinctive nature, the wild woman. Clarissa connects this through psychic archaeological methods. She digs through the history of story to find the wild woman, a real woman. The way that she unearths woman is, yes, in a spiritual manner, but I think you really can connect it with how you present as a modern woman today. Because the idea is, woman is not just one thing, but the way that she writes woman, it really does make you connect no matter where you stand, no matter what you look like, no matter what you do for work. If you're a woman, I really do recommend reading this book, or perhaps listening to it on a podcast. However you take in words, I do recommend this one. My listening recommendations, if you're not someone who's big into reading, is something else that we've quoted in this video today, but it is a podcast by Jim Rohn called Reprogram Your Mind for Success. When you listen to this, don't consider this as some corporate CEO type financial success podcast. I know it seems that way, but I just want you to listen to what he's saying and apply it to your own personal life. Clearly, I am not a CEO, I am not a businesswoman, I am an artist, and that's probably as opposite as you can get, really. But I still connect with what he has to say, and I can see how it will improve my own life quite considerably as well. And if you like that podcast, I do recommend that you also listen to Goals Become Magnetic by Jim Rohn as well. The other listening recommendation that I have for you is Caroline Winkler, who is a fellow YouTuber, much more successful than me, but I find her so funny and so inspiring in such a unique way. The particular video that I would recommend to start with is 5 ways to get motivation and inspiration, philosophers, writers, YouTubers, designers, and more. That's the video that connects most with this one, but I do recommend all of her content actually. The way that she talks about life and problem solving and relationships is really unique, and it's a really broad perspective. And I also just love watching her decorate her home and other people's homes. I love interior design, so that's where my personal fuel comes into play here. So, to quote Jim Rohn again, goals and dreams become magnets. You're on your way, you just have to begin. Oh my god, I'm stiff as a bloody board. I don't recommend sitting like that after you've been standing all day and going for a 5k run. Ugh.